Cats seemed to have it all: a stellar cast, memorable music from a Tony Award-winning Broadway show and the careful guidance of acclaimed director Tom Hooper. Then the first trailer dropped. While Hooper had said he planned to ditch the iconic costumes from the Broadway show, few were prepared for the digital fur technology that appeared in the 2-minute trailer or the nearly 2-hour movie. "Oh God, my eyes." Ty Burr, a writer for the Boston Globe, wrote in his review of the film. "You've heard of the uncanny valley effect," he wrote. "The eeriness or revulsion felt when looking at a humanoid figure that's not quite human? The digital era has given us many examples of the uncanny valley, but Cats is the first movie to entirely set up shop there." Currently, the film holds a 17% Rotten score on review site Rotten Tomatoes from 101 reviews, as of midday Thursday. Although, it seems that the visual design of the film wasn't the only thing that critics didn't like. The plot of the musical was always thin, but the music and dancing were mesmerizing enough to distract from the small thread that connected all the songs together. In the film, Hooper used Francesca Hayward, a royal ballet dancer, as Victoria, a young cat who famously does a ballet-inspired solo dance during the show, as the main character. The audience follows her through the streets of London, learning about the Jellicle tribe of cats that inhabit the rooftops and alleys and about the Jellicle Ball, an annual festivity for the cats. James Corden in Cats. James Corden as Bustopher Jones in Cats. Universal. The film is based on Cats, a musical composed by Andrew Lloyd Webber, Phantom of the Opera. The musical is based on T.S. Eliot's Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, a book of poems about cats. Webber's musical debuted in 1981 and took home the Tony for Best Musical. The cast that Hooper assembled for the 2019 reimagining is an impressive one. Taylor Swift, Rebel Wilson, Judi Dench, James Corden, Ian McKellen, Idris Elba, Jason Derulo, and Jennifer Hudson are set to star alongside some of the world's greatest dancers. However, it appears that the star power wasn't enough to woo critics. To assess Cats as good or bad feels like the entirely wrong axis on which to see it, Alison Wilmore, of Vulture, wrote. It is, with all affection, a monstrosity. Here's a rundown of what critics have said of Cats ahead of its December 20th opening. Ty Burr, The Boston Globe. The stylized computer-generated fur that Hooper and his team added to actors and dancers in post-production didn't have the whimsy and wonder that was intended, Burr wrote. The faces seemed to eerily float atop the faux fur, never quite gelling into one plane of vision, he wrote. Some cats wear clothes, some don't, all are, neutered. In addition, the dance numbers, which made Cats a sensation, were sloppy and hard to follow, Burr noted, giving the film half of a star out of 4. If the choreography were better, or if Hooper filmed it in a way that made any sense, the dance numbers in Cats might serve as the film's highlight. But he's of the school that believes the camera should move as much as the talent, and there's no pattern or inner logic to the bodies flying back and forth, some via unconvincing wire work. Also, the bit with the synchronized tails is just plain creepy. Read the full review from the Boston Globe. David Rooney, The Hollywood Reporter. Despite big Broadway and Billboard names, Cats' musical numbers fell flat for some critics. David Rooney, of The Hollywood Reporter, noted that Jennifer Hudson's performance in the film leaves much to be desired, and she is the one who performs the musical's biggest number. Jennifer Hudson tirelessly over-emotes in the role. She limps around hemorrhaging snot and looking either miserable or terrified, like she's been watching the dailies, he wrote. She blubbers her way through memory, letting loose all her considerable lung power for the big-ass key change on the phrase, touch me. Rooney did not provide a rating scale in his review. If you recoiled back then at the sight of British acting royalty with their faces stuck onto little furry bodies, or even just the jarring image of cats with human breasts, chances are you'll still be covering your eyes and peering in a profoundly disturbed state through the gaps between your fingers at the finished film. At least until boredom sets in. Read the full review from The Hollywood Reporter. Francesca Hayward in Cats. Francesca Hayward as Victoria in Cats. Universal. Carrie Langle, Arizona Republic. I didn't hate it, Carrie Langle, of the Arizona Republic, wrote in a review Wednesday. It is one of only a few critical reviews that are considered to have a positive tone on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, I expected to. Langle continued. I tried to. From the first garish notes of 80s synth, I was re-traumatized with all the other relentlessly catchy Lloyd Webber melodies that have barged into my brain over the years. A true master of pastiche, the composer of Jesus Christ Superstar, Evita, and The Phantom of the Opera hasn't had an original musical idea in his life, but he sure knows how to write an earworm. Langle gave the film 3 out of 5 stars, noting that he was charmed in spite of myself by the film. What I didn't expect, though, was just how weird Cats is. It's surreal, hallucinatory, and mostly in a good way, I finally decided. Despite the backlash over director Tom Hooper's use of digital fur when the trailer came out, the CGI-enhanced costumes work pretty well, and there's a real Alice in Wonderland feel to the oversized sets, from fancy Victorian sitting rooms to the trash-filled alley. Read the full review from Arizona Republic. Johnny Aleksinski, The New York Post. Johnny Aleksinski, of The New York Post, also found the singing and dancing of Cats to be lackluster. Hooper, who directed an adaptation of Les Miserables in 2012, once again relied on live singing instead of pre-recorded audio. While Swift and Derulo shined, others are barely passable, with wobbly voices that struggle to stand out or blend, he wrote. He, too, noted that Hudson's performance of Memory was shaky and overburdened with awkward sobs.